And when you look in the mirror this morning, do you see the face of new Labour? Do you see the face of old Labour? What?
Battered Labour.
Well, the election's underway. You can see it on the telly. You can see it on our buses. We're flying everywhere.
If that's old Labour, then I certainly endorse it, but it's in the modern setting.
John Major had that soapbox there, and he had 60 police around it. Did you see that? No wonder the crime's doubled in this country. They're all watching Major on his soapbox.
We have a bus which is a kind of modern communication centre. Well, I go to Barton, but I have a bag of fish and chips there.
What do you think of their style of campaigning?
I think it's good, yeah.
I feel that they're getting a lot better.
You're going to have to decide on May the 1st whether we continue with another 5 years of the Tories or whether we have a fresh start.
Hey, that was good.
A little bit of what?
And hear it as you finish dressing or whatever it is. Okay, fine. Say when you're ready.
Yes, I'm ready now.
When you look in the mirror in the morning, what sort of...
Are
you ready?
Sorry.
Oh, go, you're not there yet,
No,
are you?
no,
That's right. You're going to get a bit of
put the
soap
bloody
on
stuff
first.
on.
Absolutely right. Oh, yeah.
Or at least hide the face. Okay, then. And you're going to ask me some questions?
Yeah, well, I'll just ask you a couple of questions.
Okay. Yeah.
What's the face of Labour that you want to present in this campaign?
Not one with Saul soap over, obviously. But one that's a caring party, social justice. It's those traditional values, you know, we're concerned about education, health. Can we go again?
Yeah, okay, fine, off you go. Go on then. I'll ask you then. You were very good, actually, but you try and carry on.
Yeah, I'll do that after with it. I just wanted to, right?
Here we go again. What's the face of Labour that you really want to present to the voters in this campaign?
Well, not the one covered in soap, but the real face of Labour, the one that's always been concerned about good education, good health services, getting people back to work. You know, it's 50-odd years ago when that Labour government came in. It had the same values then. After 18 years, we've got to go back to doing the same thing.
So when you look in the mirror this morning, what do you see? Do you see the face of new Labour? Do you see the face of old Labour? What?
Battered Labour. One that's on the run, eyes that are baggy, getting over our case, but one that's committed, one that believes we can make Britain better. That's what it's about, and I'm very happy to get on my 10,000-mile run and the many shaves getting that case across.
Is it a campaign style that's got both parts of Labour, the new Labour and the old Labour? Is that the idea, that you're putting one side of it, Tony Blair's putting another? How do you see it?
Well, I think it's been expressed by that saying I have, traditional values in a modern setting. That is, getting over our values, but placing them in the new millennium, the new age that we're now facing. And what I try to do is get a lot of our people, our core people, out in different parts to come out and vote. That's why I've got on the bus. It's good to vote. We've got to get our own people out, as well as many people who are switching over to join Tony Blair and the new Labour Party, and it gives us the kind of result we've got in the Whittle. I think that's good.
Brilliant. Well done. Are you doing something?
I shall do a hand or something.
Yeah, wonderful. I thought that was good.
Undoubtedly, he would have been criticised in any report, and undoubtedly, he would not be able to defend his position. He's done the honourable thing. Now, the difficulty that you face...
Mr. Major said the whole thing was junk. Well, the whole thing clearly isn't junk, is it?
No, you must really, John, that's a most appalling re-slotting of quotations. No, what the incident that was under discussion at the time took place when Mrs. Thatcher was Prime Minister and under a different Chief Whip, David Waddington. We are bound to feel let down. The constitution of the Conservative Party leaves...
Well, it's quite clear that I don't know how Mr. Michael Howard will think that he's under strain, almost suggesting a kind of cracking up. It seemed as if Mr. Heseltine was the one that couldn't find the words and the answers, and after all, he's the man that said he would back them. Mr. Malwini says it's honourable, so clearly it's going to continue as part of this campaign, because they're making the running. They want to switch the personal stuff to Ireland, and that savage attack on Tony Blair. Everyone who knows Tony Blair, you could never describe him as a kind of friend of terrorism. Friend of burglar as well, isn't it? Howard
And drug dealers as well.
Drug dealers.
Throwing them all
I think it does look as if Mr. Howard really is under strain, as Mr. Heseltine said. Oh, no, wait, sorry. If you'll do it, I mean, all I'm saying is do it. You make editorial decisions about what you put in.
Right.
Instead of being like, if you come back.
Oh, God, yeah, we'll come back.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's it. Oh, no, I don't like what you say. Oh, is it better? to show around. I want to talk to them about a couple of things. I don't think it's any good this saying we don't want to.
Oh, then that's not ringing. I bet that's coming through on that other line.
Hello? Yeah, switch. We'll go along with the Cornish pasty we had last time. Well, I listened to Mr. Heseltine this morning, and obviously these issues are still running and not running very hard. Oh yes, they are. They're certainly doing that. And of course the public meeting I did last night, they just want to really know about, you know, the main issues, education, health, hospitals, things like that. And I think that card's quite brilliant. I mean, they now identify with those promises that we've made, and they are promises, and of course they're going to hold us to it, and quite rightly so. But they're aware of them. I think that's the important thing, as we found in the Whittle. It's not only the issue of whether the government's unpopular, and they certainly are, but it's really about what is the positive alternative, and that's what's coming very strongly across. That's right. That's absolutely true. I find that goes home very well to say, look, my heart tells me to promise you an awful lot more, but my head has to tell me what the reality is, and we're fighting 2 elections here. I want to be able to come along to you, sign this card down, and say to you at the next election, judge me by my promises, here's our contract with you, and that's a pretty powerful line. And so that's working well. And I've got my adoption meeting tonight. I must be almost the first in the field, so I can officially say I'm in the field now when I'm adopted. What about morning's problems? Anything you see? I also think the judgment of Major's coming through a great deal. People are beginning to wonder very much about that judgment. He seems to be dithering on all of his decisions, and I think we need to concentrate a bit on that. Oh yes, and not only that, they warmly want to come up to you and say they're making that. It's been quite a decision for them, you know, I think in many ways. That battle's gone on for 12 months, you've managed to get across to them, and they're now putting our faith in you and the party, there's no doubt about that. And they say it with some enthusiasm, and it's very trusting and very convincing, but it really is about trust, isn't it? I mean, that's where it's coming down to, and that's really at the heart of all these promises. Yeah, I think we're right to use these kind of different techniques in campaigning as well. I think it's coming across now. I see Gordon made his speech down in Basildon, and so both national and local and regional, and it has its regional dimension, and the press are turning up and the reporters travelling with us and coming to the meetings. Well, I go to Barton, but I have a bag of fish and chips there. Then I go across the Humber Bridge, and then I take it up and down Hull, over in the north, east, south and west. And then on my adoption tonight, and then I'm going to take Good Friday off. Good, well, I'll talk to you tonight then. Okay, send you. Okay, bye. Okay.
Mr. Prescott, your campaigning style is to get out and about. Some people say it's old Labour exile to the provinces.
Well, it's certainly getting across your traditional message, and if that's old Labour, then I certainly endorse it, but it's in the modern setting. We have a bus which is a kind of modern communication centre, where you have to deal with the national message as well as the regional one. But you know, we're not just a London-based party, we are a national party, we represent one nation, and my job is to get that message across, and I'm delighted to do it. But I'm down in London for press conferences, I'll be doing some of the major political shows, but I'll be playing my part in getting over to people to get out and vote. It's good to vote, that's my slogan, that's what I'm doing.
Has Labour got 2 campaigning styles then, or is it 2 sides of the same coin?
Well, I think it's a reflection of modern campaigning, isn't it? You've got the central message that changes during the day as each party makes its particular point that it wants to make. Then there's a rebuttal to that. And all those have to be expressed within the region. So here's the regional television, there's the regional press. All of them allow myself to make the same message within their context. They don't want the national message, they want the regional one. And that same message is expressed a little different in the region because the hospital programmes, the education, the overcrowding in the schools, the level of unemployment can be quite different to each constituency we go to. So ours is very much tailored to the constituency we're in, and that's my job to make sure the message gets over there.
And you don't feel you're just on the end of a line?
I've never been on the end of the line. Telecommunications mean you can have immediate contact, and Tony Blair and I make a good team, and I think the electorate know that, and we're happy to put ourselves forward as the pair that will make the change if elected to government.
Great.
Oh, could you just pick the phone up, count to 3 and put it down again? Just so I've got a shot of it just going back on the handset. Just put it down.
You did actually say goodbye, Tony, or something, did you? So
yep.
talk to you tonight or something.
Yeah,
Do it again.
Yeah, and just... yeah, fine. Lovely.
I think that we use the TV cameras, don't they, in studios now, but those things.
Thanks for coming.
Give me your badge. Go and see him up front of the bus. Have we got any fish fingers?
Yes,
You got it?
some of the women have been waiting here.
Tory MPs came from the Swedish
I love fish fingers.
Do you? Yeah, to get you in.
Yeah, I told you they like us people from home, don't they? They gave me a passport at the Humber Bridge this morning, so it's all right. Hi. Hi.
Yeah, they
Can you get time off?
Take up to It's just retiring.
Oh, are you retiring?
Retiring 28 years. She's down here on the fishing.
Well, have we got the actual shot? There you are.
Go on, Uncle.
There I'm not. Where's the? There we are. We got the cameras here and everything. Who kisses who? Hey, that was good.
Yeah. Oh dear, what a day.
What a day! It'd be like this on May the 1st, won't it? Now, how do I get up there and perform? I mean, do I get up there and say something?
Thank you.
All right then, is it there? Let's have a little chat then. Scream and shout. Are we ready? No. Where's my mic though? Hey, you going home? Where's the mic? I'm going to speak to it after. Mic, can't you? Well, they keep telling me I've got to keep my voice. So I'm going to start anyway until they bring that mic, right? Well, thanks very much for coming here. You can have the rest of the day off. That's what the management just told me.
Is that what that slogan is? Is it what? What's your slogan? Had it written down here somewhere. Who's going to tell it me?
Working together for the best.
Working together for the best. Hey, that's not bad, is it? Who was the one that said that? Hey, you can tell he wants to get on the right side of the bosses, can't you? Working together for the best. Oh, it's the union official. Right. Well, I'm delighted. Come on, Shona, get up here. Stand with me. Now, this is the woman that's going to be the next Labour Member of Parliament for this area, isn't she? Shona, come on. Give her a hand. And I'll tell you what, when she comes in next time with the Labour government, we'll have the largest amount of women MPs of any political party in the history of this country. Now, that's something to be proud of. Now, I'm delighted to be here. You've not only got to get Shona, but Austin Mitchell as well. So they're the two Labour MPs that we want you to give us for the next Labour government. While the election's underway, you can see it on the telly, you can see it on our buses, we're flying everywhere and talking about the most important issue that you're going to have to decide on May the 1st about whether we continue with another 5 years of the Tories or whether we have a fresh start. And that's what it's about. Now, you can see me. This is my soapbox, the wall of which I'm speaking on. Bit different from John Major, wasn't it? He had that soapbox there, and he had 60 police around it. Did you see that? 60 police. And he wants to cut crime. It's no wonder the crime's doubled in this country. They're all watching Major on his soapbox. What they got to do is get out and catch crime. It's doubled under their Tories. And then we have Mr. Brown. He's come up with a classic, hasn't he? He don't mean more police. He don't want particularly more prisons. What he wants, actually, is to take the side out of Humberside. And it'll cost us £1 million to take those 4 words off the side of the police cars and the adverts. Well, that £1 million, Mr. Brown, should be spent in catching criminals, not playing around with the headline on a bit of a paper or on a car. But you know, that's Mr. Brown's priorities. Now, I've got to say, he's a very important politician, Mr. Brown. There's an editorial about him in the Times today. Have you read it? You all read the Times, don't you? Anyway, well, I'll do it just to show you I'm an intellectual. See, I read the Times. Well, I wouldn't have missed this for the world. Here it is. The Times. It's not the Sun that Mr. Heseltine's worried about, supported Labour. It's the Times, the Tory Times. And the headline says, "These men must go. A message to the Tories of Tatton and Cleethorpes." Now, that's you. Here's the editor of the Times talking to the people here in Cleethorpes. What does he say? Mr. Brown and Mr. Hamilton have admitted to accepting payments from the lobbyist Ian Greer that he did not declare. And they go on then to say, Mrs. Hamilton and Brown have placed their own supporters in an intolerable position. If Tatton and Cleethorpes are not prepared to take this step, then the Tory voters in their constituencies should show their own disgust by declining to support their party's attempts to return Mr. Hamilton and Mr. Brown to Parliament. That's the message to Mr. Brown. Have a bit of honesty, use your judgment, and do what the Times says, and do the honourable thing that Mr. Mulwiney, the chairman of the party, said that Mr. Smith did. That's the choice, and if they don't do it, the people in Cleethorpes are going to do it by electing a Labour Member of Parliament in this constituency. It's about honesty in politics, and I thought about that when I come past the pub, and I couldn't believe it. The honest lawyer. I mean, who was the funny man who thought of that? The honest lawyer's got a nice ring about it. But anyway, what we've got to do, it doesn't stop at Mr. Brown and those others. You can see it over the front of the papers that we see all the time. After 18 years, this government has done more to reduce the standing of Parliament and the honesty in Parliament than any government in history. And Mr. Major, whose judgment is right at the heart of this, has a government in which 22 ministers have resigned from his government since 1992. No other government has had as many ministers resign as Mr. Major has. And it tells you an awful lot about his incompetence. So yes, the issues are about how we deal with the problems of honesty in public life, but it's also about the real issues. And I've got some pledge cards just to show you them there. So what we need to do is to make clear that we'll answer arguments, no matter how negative, with an alternative. Now, you see in the papers today, you're attacked if you're a member of a trade union. What a stage we've reached in this country, that if by your right, whether you want to belong to a trade union or not, you're attacked as a subversive for wanting to belong to a trade union. For that simple right to have that, which is given to everybody in any modern economy in America, in Europe, wherever you want to look at. Went to Europe and signing a deal. Well, I have to admit I went to Europe. We are part of Europe, aren't we? I can't understand this government. And I went there to meet people from other parties, from socialist parties, from the social democratic parties and the trade unions, to talk about how we can reduce the 17 million unemployed in Europe. Employment in Europe. That's what it's about. That's what people ask me on the streets. How can I get a job? How can I stay secure in work? These are real 18 years of the Tory government's done. Now millions unemployed. They've returned us to the kind of problems we had in the 1930s. Now you might 18 years, poverty has doubled. 4 million kids live in homes beneath the poverty line. Homeless has doubled, poverty has doubled, unemployment trebled. And now they say it's reducing because they're fiddling. We're 9th out of 15th on inflation, 9th out of 15 on unemployment. We're in the bottom half of growth, inflation, and all these indices of the economy. That's the real government started in 1992. Well, if you lived under it, you know it started in 1979. But whilst we might talk of all this kind of sleaze, honesty and corruption, our indictment of them is incompetence. Incompetence, wasteful of money. Incompetence in handling the economy. Now, BSC means blame somebody else. This government never admits it was responsible, never ever resigns in a way. It's only when they've left government that they feel they get caught out, and then they say they resign. The first name again, look. I'm just still remembering the kiss. Elspeth. Oh, Elspeth. Elspeth, there's no ring to it, isn't it? Poland saved £2.5 billion. We'll use the money that's idle in the banks to build. The day I can talk, I can go off on my bus, go across the bridge to the Humber. Mind the way, I'm getting fish and chips in Barton, so I've heard they're a bit better on the south side. I don't want to get into trouble about that at all, you know. But at least you've got the fish, haven't you? I mean, when you think about it, in 18 years, it was an island nation, right? Farmers as well. So, I've said my bit, but at the end of the day, it's still voting in Shona, right? That's the...
It's going to cost us £1 million. Think of that. Thank you, John.
Right, Shona, that's the one you've got to support. Now, you clap. I hope we'll give you a bit of a laugh. It's a serious matter, though. It's about an important decision, but make no mistake about it. It's not on put their hands up and watch each other, you know. We're going to come out and work for Shona. Give us 1 day, 2 days, come out on the day. Come on, how many will do it? You haven't got time? Now, come on. I mean, we've got to make... Well, listen, think about it anyway. And I'm sure we'll come round with some of the leaflets to ask you to come. If you only give us 1 hour, if you're at home, you can go on and work on the phone. Anything you do to help, we'd welcome. But at the end of the day, all the best ideas in the world won't win elections unless you've got good organisation, people enthusiastic to vote, and commitment. And let's face it, when you're watching the telly and you see Mr. Heseltine, Mr. Hogg, Mr. Howard, I mean, he's classic, isn't he? Dr. Malwini is the only doctor who makes you sick just looking at him. So just think about it, get out on the day, we need your support. Thanks very much for listening to us today.
Thank you, everybody.
Good morning. You're listening to John Prescott there. What do you think of the way Labour's campaigning?
I think they're doing all right.
You're pleased with the way that the campaign's going?
Yes, well, it's a long way to go, yes, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is,
Yeah.
it is.
There's going to be a few fights.
What about the differences between John Prescott and Tony Blair? Do you think there's a difference in campaign style, or are they all one, or what?
No, I don't think there's a difference, no.
You feel they're together?
Yeah, I think they're together, oh, definitely, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Good. Excellent. Can I ask you, madam? You were just listening to John Prescott there. What do you think about the way Labour's campaign is going? What do you think of their style of campaigning?
I think it's good, yeah. Yeah.
Some people see a bit of a difference between John Prescott and Tony Blair. Do you think there's a difference?
Well, I think they're both got on the same wavelength anyway. They seem to.
You feel they're singing the same tune?
Yeah.
And you like the campaign?
Yes.
What do you like about what he said today?
Well, for schools, I think, as much as anything, because I know my granddaughter's in a big sort of class, there's about 40 odd, and I think they should make it smaller to get individuality. I think that idea is good, you know.
They're saying the right things to you?
Yes, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
You're not a member of a particular party?
No, I'm a Labour.
Oh, you're not a member of a party?
No,
Otherwise we get
no,
into trouble.
no.
Oh, good. Were you listening to John Prescott there?
Yes, I was.
What do you think of the way Labour's campaigning?
Good.
Why?
Well, I think it's coming along. I mean, they've been a long time, shall we say, in the shadows. Now I feel that they're getting a lot better. I can't. That's the only way I can explain it. I'm sick to death of Tories. Absolutely.
Some people feel there's a bit of a conflict between the sort of way Tony Blair does it and the way John Prescott does it. Do you think that's true?
No, I don't think so. No, I think they're both about the same. They're both good.
You feel they're in the same party, singing the same tune?
Definitely, yes, yes.
And what is it
yes.
you really like about their style?
They're very good, and I can't really say a lot. You know, I'd sooner have them. My view is let them have a go rather than the Tories. They've had 18 years. We're sick of them for 18 long years. My son, I'll tell you this, my son, he is 18 now. Well, he will be next month. And he's just got a placement job, and all he's getting for 40 hours a week is £60, which I think it's £25, £1.25 a week, and I think it's disgusting.
You like what you're hearing from Labour?
I do, definitely. Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, look.
Thank you so much.
You go around a bend, right? Oh, yes, excellent.